You're listening to Profit Without Worry, episode number 98. Hey, when you think of marketing automation or automation in general, what comes to mind? Many people think it means pushy and salesy and robotic and disconnected, but today we're going to talk about how to use automation to create a high-touch, authentic experience for your audience. Hey there, I'm Michelle Evans, and this is the show where coaches, experts, and business owners like us get real about what it takes to create a profitable online business. I can tell you from experience that nonstop hustle plus random acts of marketing do not equal success. So how do we attract a steady flow of clients and sales without all the hustle? This is the Profit Without Worry podcast. Well, hello and welcome back, and thanks for tuning in today. So I've got a question for you. Have you taken just a couple minutes to download your free guide to Profit Without Worry? It's really easy to do. You can either go to today's show notes, which you can find at profitwithoutworry.com/episode-98, or simply go to profitwithoutworry.com/free, and you can download your guide to get on the path to Profit Without Worry. And I would love to connect with you. It's super easy to do. You can email me, michelle@michelleLevans.com, or hit me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Tag me, use the hashtag Profit Without Worry so that I see your message. Ask a question, leave a comment, or just say hi. I love to put a face with your name and know who is tuning in each and every week. All right, let's dive into today's show all about automation. So before I get to how to use automation here, I want to just give you a little backstory. So you may or may not know, but I live in the Seattle area, and it's pretty rainy around these parts for a good chunk of the year. And I don't mean like a deluge of tons of rain falling down, but just damp all the time. And my husband and I bought our house when it was just the foundation poured back in February of 2007, and we worked with the builder to customize a few things, and we moved in August of 2007. So we've been here for a while, and everything was brand new when we moved in, obviously. And over time, we have had to restain our decks so many times. I think maybe 8 times in that 12-year period. And I was just sick of doing it. The decks kind of always looked not great. We would get them all restained, and then we would go into the fall. All these leaves would be coming down. The damp would be happening, and pretty soon our decks just looked awful again. And I was like, ugh. And we have 3 decks in our house. So our house is a 3-story house, and the main entrance is on the 2nd story. So there's 16 steps that go up to our front porch. Plus, there's a huge deck there. We have a deck off of our master bedroom, and then we have a deck out back. And I was like, you know what? I am so sick of having to deal with this almost every single year. And having it just look awful all the time. I hated having people come over and go through the front of our house because I just didn't like how it looked. And I'm like, we take really good care of it. So anyway, this past summer, my husband and I decided to replace our deck with composite decking so that we wouldn't have this problem, right? And we started working to get bids and quotes and all that kind of stuff back in March. And we finally got somebody to start the project. It was supposed to start in June. It didn't start till July. And as they got into the project, they found that our builder had taken a bunch of shortcuts, and that our front deck with the 16 stairs plus this huge long deck, I think the deck is almost 30 feet long across the front of our house. I can't remember exactly how long it is, but it's really long. And had taken all these shortcuts, and it wasn't properly supported. So we had to add all this budget for, putting in support beams and all this kind of stuff. And then they started working on the deck off our balcony, and we found out that the whole deck was completely rotted. And we were like, oh my gosh, suddenly, this decking project that we were excited about has turned into a home improvement nightmare because our budget at this point was almost like 3 times what we thought it was going to be. And I have to say, side note, I think that HGTV and those places that show all these home improvement shows with all these professionals, I think they really should do a show based on real people who have real homes that they really do try to upgrade and run into real crazy problems like we did. Because I think that would be just a much more educational show than these ones where it's, a magically rebuilt and redone quickly. Because that didn't happen with us. But in any case, because our budget kind of spiraled so out of control and we hadn't even touched our back deck yet, I was like, all right, we need to figure out sort of plan B for our funding here. And so we decided to take a look at a home equity loan or line of credit. And I don't know about you, but, when you're self-employed, trying to get a mortgage or a home loan can sometimes be a little interesting. Like, you have to find a lender who understands how to read tax returns for self-employed people. And because, they're just different than just a W-2, right? And so, I started looking around at all the different options that we had, and we ended up applying at 3 different places for a home equity line of credit. One was Boeing Employees Credit Union, BECU. One was, I won't tell you what the other 2 are because we ended up going with BECU. The other 2 were really interesting experiences because as soon as they saw I was self-employed, they kicked me out of the automation and they were like, you have to bring everything in before we'll even accept your application. And I was like, what? So they declined us before we even really applied. And so we ended up going with BECU, Boeing Employees Credit Union, which is a pretty big player here in the Seattle area. And it was the coolest automation experience. And that's why I'm telling you this story is because a lot of times when people think of automation, they think that it's, pushy and salesy and really not very customer friendly and, all these kind of things. And I had the opposite experience with BECU. So first of all, BECU made it super easy. They gave me all the information that I wanted and the opportunity to self-serve. Like I could go through and I could do the calculators and I could figure out what to ask for our loan and all that kind of stuff. And they made it really easy for me to just apply. And then they automatically assigned me to a loan person who specialized in people who are self-employed. Okay, so first of all, that's really cool because that's somebody who knows how to read our tax returns and, isn't going to get freaked out because I don't have a W-2, all that kind of stuff. And so that was like bonus point 1 that made it so simple. So they gave me all the information. I already knew who they were. And then as soon as I applied, we got assigned to a specific person and I got their phone number. I got their cell phone number, their work number, their email, and I could also message them on a messaging app that the bank offers. And so it was so easy. I knew exactly who was going to get it. So I applied, I don't know, at like 10 o'clock at night on a Monday night. On Tuesday morning, I had an email and a call from the person that we were assigned to that said, hey, I'm really looking forward to working with you on this home loan. Everything's looking good. I just need a few more things from you. And here's how you can automatically upload it for me so we can get this rolling right away today. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. So we just uploaded like my husband's information, our tax return information. It was so easy. And I could just connect them with my bookkeeper, with my accountant, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really even have to do that much. So they made it super easy for me to know who we were working with. They made it super easy for me to get them the information that I needed. And then we got, the approval and we figured out when we were going to go in and sign our documents. And the person who did our loan wasn't going to be there to sign our documents because that person works in a central area and we were going to go to a local place to sign our documents. But he made an appointment for us. So we literally walked in and the person who was going to sign the loan with us was waiting for us, greeted us, took us in. And the whole thing, I don't even think that I probably spent an hour and a half on getting this whole thing done. And I was thinking it was going to take me like weeks of time trying to gather everything and talk through everything. It was the easiest thing ever. And through it all, I had really great personal interactions. And then after we were done signing, the person called me and said, "Hey, congratulations. I saw that you've signed your loan documents. Everything's ready to go. Let me know if you need anything else, all this other kind of stuff." And so the whole point of me telling you this story is that when you do it right, when you really think through, how can I best serve my customers so I can free myself up from maybe some of those automatable, is that even a word? Automatable, like tasks you can automate. So, that's part of the reason why I like marketing funnels is because at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff that you can automate. You're kind of giving your audience sort of this buffet of things that they can, learn from you or download from you, or maybe watch a webinar from you or whatever. You give them a lot of ways to interact with you and decide if they want to move forward with you. And then it frees you up so that you have a greater capacity to focus on the high value, high touch interactions with your audience that will, get them to where they want to go faster. So you're not constantly having to, for example, write emails to stay in touch with new people. You're not constantly having to write the same sort of email over and over. You can automate that stuff with a marketing funnel and people can decide, yes, this is for me, or no, this isn't, because all the stuff when we first applied for our home equity line of credit, all the stuff that we did early on was completely automated. They were thank you pages that were automated. They were automatic emails that we got that said, "Hey, we got your application. Here's the person you're assigned to." Like all that stuff was automated. And I'll tell you, because if you don't know this about me, I worked in banking for 12 years. And the first few years of that, I worked actually in a branch and I did loans. I did home loans. I did car loans. I did like all that kind of stuff. So I know how much time that stuff takes to take in an application, to process through it, like all that kind of stuff. And I was so impressed when I saw how much BECU had done to automate that, yet it still felt really personal because they'd thought through, okay, what would this look like if somebody actually really was doing this one-on-one? And how can we automate this so that we can free ourselves up to focus on the parts that we need to focus on, which is actually processing the loan, actually getting it done, actually getting a check into our customers' hands. So I want to invite you to think about that as well. How can you automate things up front so it feels really good for your audience and it invites them to come deeper, but frees you up to focus on serving your clients who, purchase from you, serving your customers, serving, everything that you do. If you have a program or whatever, how can you free yourself up to serve better there where you can really focus on those high touch customer interactions instead of kind of getting bogged down in day-to-day things that really could be automated. So there you go. The three big takeaways for me on this is that they made it easy, and I want to make it easy for my audience too, to, self-serve, learn from me, and decide that they want to move forward. The loan folks, they automated and made everything really easy for me. I want to do that as well. In fact, I know that I can do even more automation and still make it feel great. And so that's going to be a big focus of mine moving into the end of this year. And then I have always loved focusing on great personal interactions, and I will continue to do that. And I know when I automate things up front, it really does free up my time and my emotional energy to focus on the people who want to go deeper with me so that we can really get stuff done. So I want to invite you to do the same thing. And I'd love to hear from you. How can you use automations to make your business run more smoothly? Hit me up on social media or just email me, Michelle@michellelevans.com. I really love to hear from you guys. All right, as you were listening to this, did you think of someone who could use these insights about creating profit without worry in their business? I mean, automation really does free you up to create profit without worry. If you can think of someone who could use this, would you do both of us a big favor and share this episode with them? It's super easy to do from whatever podcasting app you're listening on, or just share the URL for today's show at profitwithoutworry.com/episode-98. And your friend can listen right there. And don't forget to download your freebie, 5 Steps to Profit Without Worry. You can get that at today's show notes, or just go to profitwithoutworry.com/free so that you can see what it takes to create a movement with your marketing. All right, have an amazing week, and I'll see you back here next week, same time, same place, on another great episode of Profit Without Worry. See you then.